Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jared here, and today I want to show you guys something that happened on one of my recent streams. Um, it's a very important thing to go over is when you are at a competitive event, whether it be a YCS, your NAWCQ, or wherever it may be, your regionals. Um, there is points where you are going to be in a very terrible spot, and if everything is played optimally, you will lose, but there is may be an opportunity to where your opponent could possibly mess up and it could just give you the game for free essentially. Um, so when you can't, the point of this video I wanted to say was to not scoop just because everything is going wrong. And I have a highlight here from my stream where everything went wrong directly as soon as we started the game. And we ended up taking the win strictly because I knew more than my opponent did about the general game. And this is on Dueling Book, obviously, but this applies to YCS's regionals and nationals, wherever you are. Um, I've done, there's been situations like these in those types of events that I've played in where you just know more than your opponent and you get rewarded for knowing more. Um, so yeah, I'm going to do a little breakdown for this as the game goes on, and I'll tell you guys what I mean. I wonder if he's playing shit up. What would be the odds of that? Okay, so we go second. That was optimal for us. We like going second in this deck. But, so, just by looking at our first opening hand, it's not the worst. We have the one Unchained level 8, the Unchained Soul. It's stuck in our hand. It's one of the worst cards to draw in the deck, right? And that's obviously not good. But, one's bearable. You can deal with it. You can discard it off Abomination or something. And then we have blue, another blue, Spell and a Trap. So two blue sucks also because they're straight through normal summon, right? So right off the bat, off these 5 cards, only 3 are playable. We have 3 playable cards in our hand. So we're already playing with a huge disadvantage of whatever our opponent is playing. It doesn't even matter. So we'll just keep going and see what happens. Opens up the one of Terraforming. It's fine.
I don't have a lot of good second cards here, which kind of sucks.
No big deal. Okay, so we're playing against ABC.
ABC.
So he's doing his plays. I've never played this matchup before with the Unchained deck yet. I'm still testing. So I'm trying to figure out what cards and what interactions can happen that put us in a good spot. And when we do that, it lets us. So right now he's doing his combo. We don't have a hand trap, obviously. But if I was playing in real life, I would make it seem like I do. You would send signals to your opponent to insinuate that you might and make them play a little bit differently, possibly. But for this scenario, I don't. So because we're on the book, I'm able to think about what future scenarios could have. And what's the biggest problem with ABC, right? You have Buster Dragon. So we have to think about interactions with Buster Dragon to out it inevitably, right? And you're going to see what happens here throughout the game, always doing his combo. So he goes BC. This is all pretty normal. And he ends up Buster. So he has IP, Buster, and a setback row. Now, this is where it starts getting bad. So when we look at this is terrible. This is god-awful. Because now, out of our 6-card hand, only 3 are playable. There's 0 hope for this hand, right? I'm miserable. You can see it on my face. I don't know if you can see it in this little corner. But I am miserable. So, but, I almost want to scoop, right? He opened up full combo. He's got Buster Dragon, IP, Union Hanger, even a back row, and then I'm stuck here with 3 cards. I'm super unoptimal. No Kaijus in hand. There's perfect counter for this. I get nothing. So we got to just, we got to at least play it out. So we have to play around IP and the Buster Banish. And we're going to see, what happens.
Oh, that's the worst case I could have gotten. That's so unfortunate. No Kaijus, double soul.
See, I'm like, speaking out loud, but in a tournament setting, you would be thinking about this in your head. Well, you can rant to yourself. That's fine.
Set first, like a normal. try to do something.
Obviously, you wouldn't say these things out loud in an event. You want to keep this in your head. So you want to make sure every interaction is okay. Because he doesn't know what you're playing yet, right? You could be playing Draco for all he knows if you go set 1. So you gotta make sure everything is fine. And my logic for setting 2 back rows. Whoa. Okay. My logic for setting 2 back rows was if he uses Buster to banish 1 on my opponent's turn, the blue will still be there, and I can still do the effect if I need to, right? So it's able to try to get around the Buster Dragon. And even opening up the bread and butter, you want to be able to bait out as much as you can. And even such a simple thing as the battle phase can mean so much, especially against IP. Like people sometimes just forget that you can just like summon something bigger than 800 and go to battle phase to beat over it and bait like 5 things out. This is literally a perfect example of that. He has a really, really good board, but I bait out like 4 different things just because I attacked an IP magician and I IP Masquerada, and I did like the minimalist of things, right? And because I set before, I get like semi-punished, right? And you're going to see what I mean.
Get the big brain name. Yeah, I know, right? It took me long enough.
So he uses the IP Masquerada.
IP. So that's people IP, Chain Buster, right?
So I want to be able to predict what he's going to do before he actually does it. So it gives me more time to think about my reaction.
Oh, he's not even going to use the other effect. I'm so happy I can play some right now. I just wanted to climb so much.
So he decided to not use the Buster banish effect. He decides to just tribute and use the IP. And he's going to resolve IP. When he makes Trisbania. Now this is something that I did not actually see coming. I did not see this Trisbania coming. This caught me completely off guard. You can see it in my face. I was not ready for Trisbania.
He's willing to eat all of his back row right now.
See, I'm surprised because I'm like, this Union Hanger is one of the strongest cards in their deck, and he's willing to just sacrifice it completely. So realistically, in my head, I'm like, okay, if he's playing that, he most likely will have a second Union Hanger because if he's willing to sacrifice this one, because this gets so much advantage. So yeah, he uses C effect, the summon B, then Trisbania activates. So it'll banish all the back row and the B. So I chain my blue to pop my trap. So this gives me 1 hope, right? This is the only hope I get, is being able to use this trap. Or sorry, I have 2 hopes. This is my 1 of 2. And the last card is Ash Blossom. So that's terrible. I have 3 dead cards in my hand. 3 bad cards. That's so bad. And he still is able to loop Buster Dragons.
Oh, God.
So I'm going to explain it in this, where if I didn't have 2 of these, it could have been way better. I can still slam it in special 1, but it doesn't seem that optimal, right?
That's beat. So fun fact. If he... I was just going to link it away anyway.
So my logic was that he was going to link away the Trisbania anyway if I leave it on the field. Because I was going to think in my head, like, okay, if I leave Trisbania on the field,
either of these,
if he makes Buster under it, it gets banished. So like, I was thinking about just leaving Trisbania out.
because you just chain on top of this.
But
would have ended. But because these are both of these,
I figured he's just going to link it away because I can't even kill that because if he uses B, he's just going to get another guy anyway, or he uses A, gets another guy anyway. So you can always link away the Trisbania no matter what. So this is what I opt to do. I crash in the blue, which is super
And what's
strong
even
play.
worse about both of these being in my hand is that I can't even make rage. So when he goes into Buster, rage counters Buster. What kind of countering the other hand?
That's like a 50-50, by the way. You have to bait the Buster for it to counter Buster. So I could have summoned one of the ones from my hand, right? But that doesn't actually do anything because he can just make Buster still, go to battle phase, and then it outs the rage. And I can't. I just lose. So I summon Soul. So use the Soul effect. So right here, this is a little goof. So as you can see, I popped Trisbania with Soul. Hindsight, I could not do that because it was made with IP. But going back, I would just pop the A and then attack over the Trisbania, and then there would be no difference. But I did not do that. So yeah, just switch those two, and it doesn't make a difference in the game. But just saying.
Up to 3 to play around Ash Blossom. Ironically, right?
So we use A. It's normal. Yep.
Seemed right.
I just have to pass. I only have to pass with Soul. That's it. I'm nothing.
It was just better if I didn't set both. Maybe if I just set one. If I set just the whaling, maybe that was too greedy.
And it's always good to think
Maybe
about
because I went whaling.
your misplays as the game's going on, because they could easily reoccur with something simple like that, right? So he decides to make Queen 4 Genius, 2 machines. Pretty good. It's unaffected by monsters, so it's like... Or unaffected by spawn traps, I mean. And other link monsters. So I can't even link with that, with Rage.
It sucks when you draw both of these. That's so unfortunate. That really, it puts us 2 steps behind our opponent. Because that was definitely breakable.
So he added A, if I remember right.
But yeah, just one was a real card. We would have been in a great position.
Yeah. So I know he has A in hand. It's very important. So he discards Twin to banish my Soul. Again, sucks, but it's expected. These are things I was expecting. It's gonna happen. He's gonna make Buster banish my guy.
This guy.
I can't do anything about that.
In the most unfortunate of manners.
So just look where I am, right? In this exact spot. So he has full cycle going with ABC Buster Drake. I still have a brick in my hand. I drew a spell, which is good, so it lets me play, but it's not optimal because Buster can banish either one, and then I just lose anyway, right? So this is what happens, and I'm gonna let myself in this video talk about it on my stream. I talked about out loud of what could happen. So I have to think. Obviously,
I can't deal with the third Buster, right? There's just no way.
So third Buster always kills me. I can't out that. I remember I'm low. I mean I can't see it right now because of the thing, but I am low. I'm like less than 2 or 3,000. So I set one.
I did two guys to set me up. Yeah, Chain, really big fan.
So here I can, even if I attack into this, and he banishes it, I can always chain it and pop this, and get a guy. But then he can tribute Buster and get all the advantage back, and I'm never dealing with that, right? So really the problem is that he's going to tribute Buster and get 3 guys back, and I can't deal with that advantage. That's the issue.
So what are the odds I could get him by slamming in blue and summoning Soul to pop the Buster without him realizing it's in damage step?
So you just heard what I said. This was a losing game, 100%. There was no way I'm winning this. And it's just like, okay. The main problem is that this Buster is going to tribute itself. Because I'm playing a grindy deck, I'm not going to be able to outgrind it. From where my position is, he's going to kill me too fast. So I think to myself, there's only one way that I can get this guy to not use that Buster effect. And I just said it out loud, as you heard. I have to slam in the blue twin so that I can use Soul in damage step, very specifically, to then destroy Buster, so it cannot use the effect.
What are the odds of that?
And to point out, attacking is the right play anyway, because it can ban anything out. Because even if he does banish the blue, I can still use blue's effect on the trap. So it's still the right play regardless, right?
You just have to risk it in the situation.
So he wants to play more conservatively. That's probably what's going through his head. So once he says, sure, I take the damage and I use the effect, then that's it.
Oh my god.
At that point, he's at a point of no return. There's no way he's coming back from that.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We're doing it. What's that scene from SpongeBob where he's like, we're doing it! We're doing it!
Yeah, I get hype, obviously.
Sometimes it just pays to be better than your opponent.
And this is a true statement. You literally can steal games just for knowing more Yu-Gi-Oh than your opponent. That's always the way I describe it. Is you just understand more concepts of the game itself, where you can you can just steal a game. Like you have no business winning. You absolutely should have lost completely if you played optimally, but it's not what happened. And because it didn't happen, this is the result. So, I tell him it's in damage step. He tries the chain buster and stuff.
I'm gonna go.
And then a judge eventually comes and tells him that
Maybe he's so like me.
He cannot use buster.
Any of those.
So the judge tells him he can't use buster, and you have to remember, I know that's an A assault core in his hand because he added it off B. And there is no B's or C's in the graveyard.
Good timing.
So the A is dead. He's a dead A. I can now attack over the genius. So he's top decking, right? Because he can't out that. And I have a whaling set. So any destruction, I can start going.
Ooh.
And
there's
just so many ways I can keep going.
That. Don't say these things.
And he's stuck. And inevitably, he draws his card. And he does scoop up the game. He just quits. He rage quits. Yeah. So yeah. So the point of this video of what it was from start to finish of that game. At the start of that game, I had 3 dead cards in my hand. 3 unplayable cards. They were literally just fake traps. That's all they were. And I played against my opponent who probably had a very optimal hand. He had Ash Blossom, IP, Buster Dragon, and I forgot what the set card was. And a set. And we broke that board with 3 cards. I'm not even making this video to say like, oh, Unchained's like so good. I'm just making this video saying that you should not give up a game just by your opening 5 to 6 cards, because anything could happen. There's always ways to steal a game. You have to know your opponent's weaknesses, and because he added A off of that B, and I was able to out the Buster Dragon, it put him in a spot where he could not come back. And we ended up with the win, obviously. So that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys that if you ever go to an event, a competitive event, and you really want to do well, you have to keep your eyes open for this. Don't just scoop it up. Don't be salty. Don't rate it. I was salty, right? I started that game salty, and I ended up winning because I was able to think of different possibilities and ways where I could take advantage of the deck's weakness, and that's what happened. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. I try to upload some things so that you can learn. Feel free to follow me on Twitch. I'm going to put my Twitch down in the description. You can any questions or anything you want to talk to me about, I'm always open. Yeah, it was good talking to you guys. I hope you guys learned.